Alright John, welcome to Club 100 round 2. We're at Shenington this round, a track that I have known for a long time, so hopefully we do well here. The session before the heavyweights was in the wet, so it's just dried out, so that's nice. No wet weather to contend with this time. But we're getting straight on with Heat 1 here as we are away in third place for this one. We've got Andrew Rabbage in front of us, and they're all battling on the inside then. I tried to chuck it around the outside, but it didn't quite work. Everybody all jostling on the right there as Mike Coppins managed to slip past all of them, and I just got a little bit cut off there. And I'm stuck on the inside here as Rabbage goes deep and clips the back of Matt Ellis, spins round, so I have to go around the outside and drop behind two more guys. So we're down to 6, not a great start from third, but we're still in the train for the lead and we've got plenty of time to make it back. So behind Martin Joyce now, going down to one of the best corners in the world, Wilkins, as I throw it down the inside. Wasn't much room there, but I knew I had to get the move done to stay with the top 4 here and managed to get it done. So yeah, I've been coming to Shenington since about 2011 when I started my owner driver racing. This was the first race I ever did around here. Did my ARCS test here and everything, so I've got a lot of experience. Quite looking forward to coming here. As you can see, we are closing in on Matt Ellis in front. The front guys starting to get together in the slipstream a little bit, as the slipstream is very powerful around Shenny. I've always called it the Monza of karting because there's so many fast bits interrupted by hairpins. We're going to absolutely launch it down the inside of Wilkins again. Just a great corner for an overtake, really. Got into P4. I mean, we were quite far back there, but yeah, and nevertheless, we are going to move forward now. About the gap until now, because Steph Theodore has thrown it down the inside of Mike, but got it completely wrong, and Yusuf bin Sahel has managed to capitalise on that. But Steph's still there on the left, going into Park Bend. And we've got Matt trying to sneak past us in the slipstream, but we managed to hold it into Cafe. Yusuf and Steph still going side by side, rubbing wheels a little bit. So we're going to see if we can slot in behind. Yusuf dives to the left, Steph's on the inside, so we're going to try and follow him there. Yusuf's stuck on the outside, so we have the inside going into the Bruno chicane. But Yusuf's still on the outside, tries to hold it, but locks the rears a little bit, and we get into third place. Let's just watch that again. That's absolutely fantastic from the go there. Let's watch that sideways, beautifully executed spin. World class driving. As we look forward now, Steph in P2. Mike Coppins absolutely disappeared up the road after all of that battle in between everyone. So yeah, we'll see if we can get second. Not too long left now, as we did skip forward a little bit. A few laps before all of that started to kick off, because the pace between everybody was quite similar at the front. But now we are trying to see if we can get a run on Steph here. Slipstream we've been working from back here. It's just such a long straights everywhere. Steph is actually going to run a little bit deep and get beached on the curb slightly there, so that ruins his run, and we're going to have the inside and the overlap going into the Bruno chicane up to second place. So this has been a good recovery from the start. Going slightly defensive from Steph now, as he's still on the back of us, but we've just about managed to hold him off, and that's pretty much how this race is going to end, because there was no way we were ever going to catch Mike, and we've managed to hold on to P2 there. So a good start to the day, good recovery. 9 out of 10 I gave myself like one. I was pretty happy with that, especially after how round 1 went. Just as a reminder, I managed to be 13th in the first round, and I didn't actually get any top 3s in the heats. So second place, good way to start round 2 here. We're starting 8th, I believe, for this one. Heat 2 as we're going into now. Quite a few good drivers in this one as we're away, and we're straight away trying to get through the mid-pack, try and catch on the front of the pack here, as they all go slightly wide there, and I'm going to cut back on a few of them and actually get a couple of positions straight away there. Behind James Martin now, going into Stratford hairpin, and I tried my luck down the inside here. I was quite far way back, but I thought I'd try and get on with it, but he was still on the outside. That was the only way I could really slow the car down. So fair enough, we took him behind him and see if we can work together. But there was quite a difficult task ahead because all of the drivers in this race were quite good. Quite a lot of seeded drivers as well. So we're just working with James here, trying to get forward. But it's going to be a difficult one, because I think we're in 6th place now. See if we can pick off any positions from the battling of the guys ahead. We've got Mike Coppin, Dante Dillon, Sam Essery, Andrew Ward, all of them seeded drivers except James Martin, but he's still very quick. So we skip along now. I think I made a mistake, so I slightly lost James, but now we're going to get brought back into it because he's got down the inside of Sam Essery. We tried to follow through at Stratford, but not quite. Didn't quite get the run. There's a yellow out. I think there was a cone getting put back in position or something. Yeah. And we didn't quite get a good launch off the chicane there. The other guys reacted better to the yellow going away, but we are still not too far away from them. And in the slipstream of Sam now, I did notice in this race that he did start near the front and was dropping back a little bit, so I thought maybe he was struggling a little bit in this one as he gets a bit sideways there. And now I'm thinking Andrew and James are starting to stretch their legs a little bit, so I'm going to have to get past Sam, and I'll just go for it into Stratford. Catch the curb slightly, so it wasn't ideal, but we still get past into 5th, and unfortunately that is where we're going to finish, because, well, for starters, the camera, as I was alluded to at the first round, went flying again. But we did actually catch up to the back of James Martin, but he's defended well at the end, so we stayed in 5th place, and our race was 7 out of 10. So moving on to Heat 3, starting 9th for this one. So we've had a 2nd and 5th so far, so it's already going better than the first round. But we can see what we can do here to improve our final position. Didn't get the greatest of starts there, as I just touched the back of Ben Lambeth off the line, but nevertheless, going into Cafe for the first time, there's a bit of contact between everybody, and I see a space opens up here into the grandstand corner, and I do actually manage to nip past Ben and also get past Aaron Clark, as Dean Everest made a bit of contact with him there, but no problem for me. Into P6 behind Dean now, and a bit of battling going on ahead, and I can see I got a good run on Dean coming out of Bruno there. He's got a good run on the guy in front, and we do actually make a bit of contact with Dean, but he stays in a line, so we still go for the move and don't get penalised for it, as he didn't go wide or anything. We were still there, the inside. I think we got a warning for that, but I just didn't really expect him to brake as early as he did. But anyway, he slotted in behind me, no harm done. Into P5, and now we're straight away on the back of Dan Grocott in the slipstream. Nice pass into Stratford to P4. So it's been a successful first lap and a bit to this one. 9th to 4th already, so I'm already thinking, you know, how far can we go here, as we were gaining on Matt Cockram after a few corners as well. The front two have got away a little bit, so maybe that's out of reach, but it is still early days, so you never know. Matt looking a little bit wobbly around Wilkins there. We're in the slipstream and we're just getting so much in the toe. It must have been quite windy as well. So we get down the inside into turn 1 park and we've done it into P3. So only 2 laps and we've gone from 9th to 3rd. There's still plenty of time remaining as well, but there is quite a long way to the front too, but they are starting to battle, as you can see there. So skipping forward a little bit, and we have actually managed to catch them quite a lot. So the kart was clearly good in this one, and these guys were obviously battling for the win. So maybe didn't see me coming, but yeah. Next up on the list to pass is Bryn Albin, as he gets a little bit locked up on the brakes there. So now I'm starting to think, well, we've really got pace here. Can we win this race? But there's not long left now. Obviously, it took me quite a while to close that gap down. It was quite big. But Bryn's looking behind. He's starting to get worried about where I am. And we get a massive run on him here. And I'm going to throw it down the inside into Wilkins. And I don't think he expected that. Managed to get into second. Park it on the apex. Job done. But there's only a couple of laps left now. And Sam's got a little bit of a gap after that move I've made. So it's going to be difficult, but we've already closed him in there, look, after just 2 corners. And I'm really starting to think now, where can I get him? Can I catch him quick enough to have a chance? Because with only a couple of laps left, he's obviously going to defend. And Shenington is quite an easy track to defend around. You can literally just sit on the inside everywhere, and it's pretty much impossible to get around the outside into any of the corners unless there's a mistake by somebody. But anyway, going into Wilkins now for the penultimate time, and we have really caught Sam Lovelace here, and he's starting to get a little bit worried as we're heading on to the final lap. He's looking behind, and he goes half defensive, and I see a tiny gap down the inside, and there is a little bit of contact, but I have got the lead onto the final lap. And I was thinking to myself, honestly, I've got to go for it now, because he is going to defend onto the final lap for the lead. And I got it done. And to be honest, I wasn't sure about that move, whether it was all right or not. But the camera just started to go up in the air. So we're going to cut to the end. And we did manage to win the race. And I've only given it a 9.5 out of 10 because I really wasn't sure whether to celebrate or not, because I didn't know if I was going to get penalised for that move. But I spoke to Sam afterwards, and he was all good about it, and we did manage to pick up the win. So very good heats now, 2nd, 5th and 1st. So we've qualified 4th for the A final, a lot better than the first round. So going up to the line behind Ed Bars in 2nd, Dante's on pole, and we're away for the A final. So seeing what we can do here into the first few corners. Mike Coppin trying to get round our outside, and he is still there on the left, so we have lost the position. And to be honest, I'm sitting there thinking these guys are really good drivers. Let's make a bit of contact with Ed there, but no problem. Yeah, these guys are really good. If I can just break away with them at the start, then we can think about battling them later on, because obviously there's 26 people in the A final, so we want to think about battling at the end and get away from the pack to start with. As I make a little bit of contact with Mike there, he gets a bit sideways, but I was the big loser there, as I had to try and avoid him a little bit, and that's got me out of the toe. And that's actually going to be quite important, because obviously around a track with so many straights, the slipstream is a big thing really, and losing that so early on is not ideal for me, because they've already got a gap now, and I'm going to be more vulnerable to the guys behind than they're going to be to me. But yeah, the way the day had gone so far, to be honest, I was just thinking, you know what, 5th, that would be a good step up from the last round, a bit more. But yeah, I got a little bit sideways through the chicane there as well, so it's not a great start to this final. And now we've got Matt Wildman, who's gone down the inside into Wilkins. I'm thinking, okay, at least now I've got someone to work with, so I'm pushing him down straight. and see if we can catch them back up. But they're all working with each other. Everybody's in the two. Rob Newman and Dante Dillon have got each other to work with, and then Ed Bars and Mike Coppin are working with each other. So it's not like anyone's really vulnerable. So it's going to be difficult to make too many inroads here. But this kind of thing can happen at Shenington. It's just so much about the straights. Like if you make a slight mistake and don't get the run, and lose the slipstream, then you're kind of screwed, to be honest. But yeah, we have got Matt to work with him. We're trying to push him along, but Anwar Burrell Smith is now down our inside, and he's not bothered about working with us. He wants to get forward, and we just about managed to hold him off, but because we touched the curb, Harrison Kirkham managed to undercut both of us, and Anwar's still on the inside for Cafe, so we're actually down to 8th now. It's not exactly how I wanted it to go, but nevertheless we've worked with Anwar as he throws it up the inside of Matt Wellman. And I started to notice actually in this race that Matt, despite getting past me fairly early on, his kart wasn't amazing, because he was falling back from these guys as we decided to try and throw it down the inside, but he does get the cut back. And now again we've started battling, and Sam Lovelace is going to jump through, so we're down to 9th, and we've also lost Anwar and Harrison. So the tactical masterclass from myself here has not been too well thought out, and Sam's going down the inside of Matt now, so Matt's starting to drop back. But he just get the cut back on Sam, and we tried to get the cut back on both, just as Harrison did to me and Anwar, but didn't quite manage it. So we are trying to help Sam down the inside into Park. He gets slightly sideways, so Matt holds it. I've tried to cut back on Sam, and we're side by side going through pit bend here, but he just about manages to hold it. That's what I mean though, you can't go around the outside really on any of the corners, even Pitts Bend, which is a straightforward flat out. It's quite difficult. But yeah, so 9th place at the moment, after the heights of starting in 4th place in the final. It's not exactly the result I was planning on going for. We're trying to open up Wilkins here to get a run down into the start finish, and Sam's swarming all over Matt here. I'm in the tote, and Sam doesn't really know what to do, and he sort of backed off there, so I tried to throw it around the outside, and we have got the inside for Cafe now. We're rubbing wheels a little bit, and I tried to squeeze him a bit, but he's still there on the inside, so again he has the better line. But this time I have managed to hold the inside into Stratford, and he tried to squeeze me a little bit there, but it didn't work, and we still managed to hold the inside, and we've got him now into P8. And now we'll see what else we can do. As I mentioned earlier, Matt Warman struggling a little bit for pace in this one, so we did manage to catch him up and get him into Wilkins, but as you can see now, Anwar and Harrison are way too far ahead, so we've got up into P7, and that is where we're gonna finish. But so we have got the last lap left, so I thought I'd show you a lap of Shenington, flat out through Park Bend, and then just a slight dab on the brake for Cafe, using all the track. You can run over the old white line there, flat out through Pitts Bend, bringing it back over to the left for Stratford, braking about at the Marshall post, and hitting the apex, running all the way over, getting one wheel on the big curb on the outside. Now some people choosing to hit the right hand curb there, Bruno chicane, and I decided not to keep the kart stable, but it's pretty standard chicane after that. Flat out at Hanger Bend, and then braking just before the Marshall post at Wilkins, getting it sideways on the brakes, flat out as soon as you get to the middle of the corner, and all the way up to the finish line. And that is where we're going to finish at Shenington. 7th place, big improvement from last round. Slightly disappointing after starting 4th, but to be honest, this grid was very strong, so I wasn't too displeased. 7 out of 10. And that is that for Shenington. So thank you guys for watching again. The camera quality is a little bit better this time, or the positioning I should say. But yeah, we'll move on to Wilton Mill next up. So thanks for watching, I'll see you then.